limit. Buy 4, get 4 free. Plus 0% financing for 18 months. Call today and save.
Good morning, America. No spring in sight. Record cold and snow from the Midwest to the Northeast. Freezing fans bundling up on opening day. The severe storm alert this morning.
Overnight, President Trump sparks new fears of a trade war with a $100 billion threat to China. And the president goes off script with fiery and false words about undocumented immigrants and breaking his silence on Stormy Daniels.
UFC fighter under fire. One of the biggest stars in the world, Conor McGregor, caught on camera attacking a bus full of people, now facing charges. What started the brawl?
Supersonic success. The incredible rocket launch flying high over the Mojave Desert. What it could mean for tourists dreaming of a trip to space.
And the Eagle has landed. The startling moment on the baseball field, challenger swooping in, landing right on the pitcher. Why did he pick that player as his target?
Live at Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. Now, Michael, you answer your own question right there. Why did the Eagle pick that player as his target?
Maybe he liked the other team.
What a moment that was at the Minnesota Twins game. It happened during the national anthem. Look at this. The Eagle landing right on Mariners pitcher James Paxton. It turns out he thought James was his handler. Paxton said after the game, you guys, he figured he couldn't outrun the Eagle, so he might as well just see what would happen.
We're putting a lot of thought on that Eagle.
But when they say he thought it was his handler, like, what, did they ask the Eagle? Did he tell them that? That's a little confused about that. But while that was going on in Minnesota, the Chicago White Sox were celebrating their home opener. They celebrated it with snow. Winter weather and record cold moving in from the Midwest to the Northeast. And let's go right to Rob for the latest. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Michael. Some of that snow is heading towards the Northeast. We got a couple heading this way. So our endless winter, well, it just doesn't want to end. Some more pictures out of the Chicago area from yesterday. Traffic was not that much fun either. And we're seeing wet roads and snow today across parts of Detroit, and a slow go yesterday just west of Illinois. And behind this is not warm air, so whatever did fall is not going to melt all that quickly. Let's go through it. Active jet stream for this time of year is more like a mid-February pattern, and we've got that pulse that's moving through the Great Lakes now. Pennsylvania, upstate New York will get it later on today. A threat for severe weather with the stronger system moving across the south today, so we'll watch for that, and then developing into potentially some snow across the mid-Atlantic during the day tomorrow. We don't expect a whole lot of accumulation, mostly in elevated spots in the grassy areas, but still, for this time of year, 1 to 3 inches of snow, another significant spring talking about. Michael, back inside to you.
All right, thank you, Rob. It's a weekend. We're just going to embrace it. All right, George.
We can do. We're going to go to the White House right now, where President Trump ratcheting up his trade war with China, now putting an additional $100 billion in tariffs on the table. This comes on the heels of an unplugged appearance in West Virginia, where the president literally, you see it right there, threw out his speech on tax reform, replacing with red meat and false claims about immigration. Our chief White House correspondent John Carl is covering it all. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. Well, the White House plan was for the president to go to West Virginia to talk about tax cuts. Instead, as you saw, he literally threw out the script and vented once again about immigration. A day after ordering the National Guard to the southern border.
You know, this was going to be my remarks. It would have taken about 2 minutes, but that would have been a little boring.
President Trump used a planned speech on taxes to unload on undocumented immigrants.
We don't know if they're murderers, if they're killers, if they're MS-13.
The president offered new details on his plan to send the military to the border. He wants 2,000 to 4,000 National Guard troops along the border with Mexico, and he wants them to stay there until the wall is built.
This is the kind of stuff and crap that we're allowing in our country. And we can't do it. We can't do it anymore.
And echoing his controversial attack on Mexicans during his campaign kickoff.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
The president suggested, without any evidence, that there has been rampant rape among the Central American migrants traveling in a caravan through Mexico.
And yesterday it came out where this journey coming up, women are raped at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
The organizers of the caravan say there have been no rapes.
The president also repeated the false claim that millions voted illegally in the last election.
In many places, like California, the same person votes many times. You probably heard about that. They always like to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory, folks. Millions and millions of people.
The Pentagon says it will be weeks until the first National Guard troops are deployed to the border. The details still need to be worked out with the states. And, George, one of those states, California, which, of course, has a big border with Mexico, is so far saying they do not agree to cooperate with this plan.
Yeah, they're going to fight that one hard. Meantime, on this possibility of a trade war, John, after the president's first announcement earlier in the week, his team tried to tamp down prospects of a trade war. But this new move is drawing a fierce response from China.
That is exactly right. So what happened here, George, is that the president announced, or the White House put out a statement from the president late yesterday saying that they were responding to the Chinese response with more tariffs. The president threatening $100 billion in additional tariffs. And now the Chinese have come out with a statement from the Ministry of Commerce saying, we do not want to fight, but we are not afraid to fight a trade war. That from the Chinese, threatening that they will respond with even more tariffs on American goods going to China.
And the markets are taking notice this morning. Okay, John, thanks very much. President Trump also facing new questions about his embattled EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt. On Air Force One, Trump voiced strong support.
I think that Scott has done a fantastic job. I think he's a fantastic person.
But that came before new reports overnight about Pruitt's honesty and management of the EPA and more pressure from Congress. So let's bring in our senior congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, the blows to Scott Pruitt just keep coming. EPA officials now tell ABC News Pruitt knew about and supported a plan to give two of his most loyal aides big salary hikes, even after the White House refused to sign off. Earlier this week, Pruitt claimed he knew nothing about this at the time, but sources tell us that's simply not true. And now the New York Times also reports that several EPA officials who raised red flags about Pruitt's management and spending were later demoted or reassigned. Now, we've reached out to the agency for comment. So far, no response. But George, publicly, as we heard there, the president says he has Pruitt's back. But privately, White House officials tell us he is frustrated by all of this controversy. And there are now growing calls for him to resign. The looming question this morning, George, can Pruitt save his job?
It is a big one. Okay, Mary Bruce, thanks very much. Paula?
Pruitt's certainly under fire. Thanks, George. President Trump also making his first public comments about Stormy Daniels, telling reporters he did not know about the $130,000 nor where it came from. That's the amount his attorney paid the adult film star to keep her from talking about their alleged affair. And ABC's Lindsay Davis is here with all the details. Good morning to you, Lindsay.
Yes, good morning to you, Paula. For months, the White House has been silent on the Stormy Daniels front, careful to not answer if the president knew about the hush money. But now Trump has spoken out about it himself, and Stormy Daniels' lawyer is celebrating. For the first time, President Trump broke his silence about the adult entertainer.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why, Michael?
On Air Force One, he forcefully denied having any knowledge about that $130,000 hush payment made to Daniels by his personal attorney, Michael Cohen, just days before the 2016 election.
Why did Michael Cohen make this if there was no truth around it?
You have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
A spokesperson for Cohen tells ABC News the president's assertions are an accurate assessment of the facts, adding that Michael Cohen made the payment to protect business, family, and reputation. It had nothing to do with the election. Overnight, Stormy Daniels' attorney said he's celebrating the latest comments from the president.
Well, first of all, Ari, let me say Merry Christmas to you, because it is a very, very Merry Christmas this evening here over in our camp.
And saying he'll be taking the steps to depose him.
We're going to find out what the president knew, when he knew it, and what he did about it.
Daniels says she had an affair with Trump in 2006, long before he was president. The White House has repeatedly denied the affair.
You were 27, he was 60. Were you physically attracted to him?
No.
Did you want to have sex with him?
No. But I didn't say no. I'm not a victim. I'm not.
It was entirely consensual.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Just last week, a federal judge rejected Stormy Daniels' lawyer's request to depose the president. At the time, the judge called it premature. Avenatti says it is no longer premature. He plans to refile the motion. Michael?
All right. Thank you so much, Lindsay. And now we're going to go to that Facebook scandal Overnight, Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg admitting the company made a mistake and also suggesting users would need to pay to stop Facebook from collecting and using their data to sell ads. Rebecca Jarvis is here with more. Good morning, Rebecca.
Hey, Michael, good morning. And yeah, this idea of paying for Facebook, purely hypothetical. It's very unlikely that it would happen, but Sheryl Sandberg, the COO, is making the point that Facebook is a free service. And the reason they don't charge users a subscription fee is because they make money off of collecting all that information and selling ads on the platform that can perfectly target you and your interests. Sandberg says she and others at Facebook were too idealistic and let bad actors take advantage. Just this week, Facebook announced it uncovered a new issue where you could scrape the public profile data of every one of Facebook's 2 billion users, saying this.
In this case, we had a feature that enabled you to find your friends. You could find their friends by their name or their email or their phone number. That was a good use and really important to a lot of people. People who should not have scraped that data and made a directory of it. But what matters here is that all of the information they received was already public. They did not scrape any private data. So it was information people had already listed on Facebook publicly. Now, that doesn't make it okay.
And she said this is an arms race. They've shut down this issue, Michael, but there will continue to be issues that crop up. They're trying to stay ahead of them now.
But one of the major questions is what role Facebook played in the 2016 presidential election. What are they saying about that?
Well, it's interesting. Sheryl Sandberg said that she's not sure. Facebook isn't sure what role the platform played in the election, but that they know every single candidate, every politician was using the platform.
Absolutely, to their advantage.
Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you so much.
And there is another big development in the Russia investigation now. ABC News has learned of new questions about the congressional testimony of Eric Prince, the founder of security contractor Blackwater, major Trump campaign supporter. Those questions now being looked at by special counsel Robert Mueller. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington with this exclusive report. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. That's right. Today we have new details about the special counsel obtaining documents from a new key witness in the Russia investigation. Sources telling ABC News those documents appear to call into question the congressional testimony of a prominent Trump supporter.
Eric Prince, Trump's supporter and Blackwater security founder, leaving a closed session of the House Intelligence Committee frustrated.
I've already wasted 4 hours of my life on that.
But sources tell ABC News that very testimony is now drawing increasing scrutiny from the special counsel.
The brother of Education Secretary Betsy DeVos was irritated by Democrats raising questions about a meeting he had with a Russian with close ties to Vladimir Putin, half a world away at the Seychelles Islands in the days just before Trump's inauguration.
They're asking weird fishing expedition questions.
Prince suggested to House investigators he had met Putin ally and Russian businessman Kirill Dmitriev in the Seychelles by chance. I didn't fly there to meet any Russian guy, Prince testified last November. Prince said he had gone there to discuss possible business opportunities with officials from the United Arab Emirates, and he said they suggested he meet with the Russian. But Prince's testimony is now being revisited because of George Nader, a Lebanese American with international connections. Sources tell ABC News Robert Mueller has obtained documents from Nader that appear to conflict with Prince's testimony about the Seychelles encounter.
Nader, now a key witness, has testified before Mueller's grand jury at least 4 times. Sources say among the documents Mueller has secured are those suggesting Nader met with Prince at the Pierre Hotel in New York City on January 3, 2017, and that within 24 hours, Nader sent Prince detailed bioinformation on Dmitriev, showing he was a powerful Putin ally. A week later, Prince was in the Seychelles having a beer with Dmitriev. Nader says he was at the Seychelles meeting, something Prince never mentioned in his congressional testimony. Prince has denied going to the Seychelles as a representative of the Trump transition, and his spokesman tells us he stands by what he told Congress, George.
The scope of this investigation is wide. Okay, Pierre, thanks very much. Paula?
Thanks, George. There are also new developments this morning in that deadly water slide case, which took the life of a 10-year-old boy back in 2016. The co-owner of the Kansas park has pled not guilty to second-degree murder, and ABC's Diane Macedo is here with all of the details. Diane, good morning.
Paula, good morning to you. Jeff Henry said only that his heart goes out to the boy's family, as his lawyer called the allegations against him ludicrous. But prosecutors say Henry ignored safety standards in a rush to open the world's tallest water slide.
Water park designer Jeff Henry is pleading not guilty to second-degree murder in connection with the 2016 water slide death of 10-year-old Caleb Schwab. The man, once called a water park visionary, built the Verrucht water slide to be the tallest in the world.
He does not have any formal education in terms of engineering or physics, correct?
And neither did Henry Ford, and he built the car.
According to the 47-page indictment, Henry, who's the co-owner of Schlitterbahn Water Parks, relentlessly pushed engineers to build this prototype in just 36 days. The indictment says the ride was hurriedly built, partly to impress the reality show Extreme Water Parks.
The issue about pushing this thing forward is, in fact, totally false. If anything, the construction schedule was moved back by over a year and a half to accommodate safety issues.
The indictment also alleges the design of the ride guaranteed that rafts would occasionally go airborne in a manner that could severely injure or kill the occupants. That's what happened to Caleb Schwab.
There's just times you want to be there and be in the moment with him, and you see him, you almost want you can touch him.
Unbelievable what those parents are going through. The trial is currently set for September 10th. There was a big debate over whether Henry is a flight risk. His attorney argued he's not going anywhere because he wants to defend himself against these allegations.
Yeah, in the meantime, Caleb's family has to endure all this agony once again.
Absolutely.
Diane, thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on now to a new warning about a data breach from Delta Airlines. The company says hundreds of thousands of customers may have had their personal information compromised. And our senior transportation correspondent David Curley is at Reagan National Airport with more on who may be affected. Good morning, David.
Morning, George. It's just not Delta. Other companies affected by this hack that used a California company's text chat software. It happened last fall, but Delta says it just learned about this hack. The airline telling us that several 100,000 of its customers may have been affected by this malware, which was actually scraping their data between September 26th and October 12th. That included their names, their credit card numbers, expiration dates, security codes, even their addresses. The airline says it has its customers' backs. It will monitor their credit. It will also cover any fraudulent charges. Now, the other company hit was Sears. It says less than 100,000 customers were affected, George, but it has not told us what it's going to do for its customers who might have been affected.
So do we know how the hack happened, and how will customers know if they've been affected?
Right. So this California company, 247.ai, has this chat software. The malware was sitting in that. So if you went on the site and bought something, it was getting your data. The company is won't tell us why it waited 5 months to tell Delta. It says it has notified law enforcement. The best thing, George, monitor your credit. Look, are there charges that shouldn't be there? If you did business with these two companies during that period last fall.
You've got to keep an eye on it. But boy, 5 months, that is a long time. Thank you, David. Michael?
All right, thank you, George. The dream of sending tourists into space, well, it's one step closer to reality this morning. Virgin Galactic successfully launched a rocket-powered spaceship over the Mojave Desert Thursday. It's the first test of its kind since the crash in 2014. The rocket plane hit nearly twice the speed of sound, reaching an altitude of 84,000 feet before the pilot shut down the engine and it glided back to Earth. Virgin's Richard Branson tweeted, "Space feels tantalizingly close now." Would you guys take a trip like that?
No way.
I might take that one, yeah.
I'm not a risk taker. I like my feet on the ground.
All right, that's good to know. Rob is a risk taker because he's going to tell us all about the new storm that's coming to the west.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Hey, Michael, this is an impressive atmospheric river emanating from the tropics. It means it's got a lot of deep moisture, and it's coming right to Northern California. Will hit really the entire East Coast with some wind as well. Flood watches up here with high snow levels. 2 pulses of heavy rain coming. Weekend getaways now brought to you by CarMax.
That was invigorating. You're probably wondering why I just carved a giant wooden tiger. Well, the answer is that a real one would maul me. I've crafted Dr. Whiskers here as a visual aid to show you that should you visit the lot, CarMax associates will not pounce like tigers because people don't like that. Come here to buy a car, Dr. Whiskers won't pounce. Nobody will.
Our storm for the weekend for Saturday trending further to our south, so some of our southernmost counties will get clipped with just a little bit of snowfall, mainly south of 66 and south of 50 coming your way for Saturday. And the best time period is going to be tomorrow right around midday, 10 a.m. to about 1 p.m. But look at your temperatures today, upper 60s to 70 degrees. Those road temperatures tomorrow above freezing too all day. Better day on Sunday with sunshine, 50 degrees, but watch the refreeze that happens overnight.
Up here, famous UFC fighter Conor McGregor now facing charges after this dramatic confrontation caught on camera.
And an ABC News exclusive, Patriot star Julian Edelman speaking out about how he helped stop a possible school shooting.
To most people, I look like most people.